ورتل القرآن ترتيلا.
Assalamu alaikum. In this lesson, we will be covering sound. Our learning objectives are: number one, to be able to define al-rikhawa, at-tawassut, and shidda. Number two, to know the letters of al-rikhawa and pronounce them correctly. Number three, to know the letters of at-tawassut and pronounce them correctly. And finally, to know the letters of shidda and pronounce them correctly. As we have previously covered, we are studying Sifaat Lazima with the opposites. In this topic, all the letters are included, and this has been subdivided into 5 categories: air, sound, tongue, the back of the mouth, and pronunciation. We have covered air, and we will be covering sound in this lesson. The sound is divided into 3 categories: the sound flows, which is known as al-rikhawa; the sound partially flows, which is known as at-tawassut; and the sound does not flow, or the sound is trapped, which is known as ash-shidda. Let's look at the definitions. The sound flowing, which is called al-rikhawa, is pronouncing the letter in a soft, gentle manner due to the weak reliance of its makhraj. The sound partially flowing, which is known as tawassut, is the sound is neither trapped nor does it flow beyond its makhraj. And the sound does not flow, which is known as shidda, is the strong stoppage of the sound upon pronouncing the letter due to the strong reliance on its makhraj. There are 5 letters of tawassut, and the easy way to remember is with the term Lin Umar. The letters are Lam, Noon, Ain, Mim, and Ra. Let's look at each letter in more detail. The letter Lam, La, Lu, Li, Al. As you can see, it is made more clear when we put a sukoon on the letter Al. The letter Noon, Na, Nu, Ni, An. The letter Ain, A, U, I, A. The letter Mim, Ma, Mu, Mi, Am. The letter Ra, Ra, Ru, Ri, Ar. There are 8 letters of shidda, and there are 2 ways of remembering this. Ajid qitta bakat, or an easier way, Utuba jaddin tikka, as we have done the qalqala letters before. The letters are Hamza, Jim, Dal, Qaf, Ta, Ba, Kaf, and Ta. Now let's look at each letter in more detail, and we will find that it is made more clear when we put a sukoon on the letter. So for the letter Hamza, A, U, I, A. Letter Jim, Ja, Ju, Ji, Aj. Letter Dal, Da, Du, Di, Ad. The letter Qaf, Qa, Qu, Qi, Aq. The letter Ta, Ta, Tu, Ti, At. The letter Ba, Ba, Bu, Bi, Ab. Letter Kaf, Ka, Ku, Ki, Ak. The letter Ta, Ta, Tu, Ti, At. And as you can hear from the letter Kaf and the letter Ta, there is no sound flow, but for the letters to be released with the sukoon, there has to be the airflow, the hums. Ak, At. The remaining 16 letters fall into the category of RIKHAWAH. Examples of RIKHAWAH: for the letter Fa, Fa, Fu, Fi, Af. For the letter Za, Za, Zu, Zi, Az. For the letter Dhal, Dha, Dhu, Dhi, Ar. So what is the difference between hams and RIKHAWAH? Well, hams refers to the confirmation of the breath, and RIKHAWAH refers to the confirmation of the sound. So here we have two examples to help you understand a bit more clearly. The letter Dal comes under the term RIKHAWAH, which means the confirmation of the sound, which means sound flows. So if you hear you can hear that the sound is flowing. There is no airflow. For the letter Fa, we have the confirmation of air and we have confirmation of the sound, which means it is hams and RIKHAWAH. The air flows and the sound flows. So if you listen, af, so the air is flowing and the sound is flowing. So previously we have covered in regards to the air that air flows, which is known as hams, and air which does not flow, which is known as jahar. Hams, there are 10 letters, فَحَثَّهُ شَخْصٌ سَكَتْ, and the rest of the letters fall into the category of al-jahar. In this lesson, we covered the sound. Sound flows, which is known as a RIKHAWAH. Sound partially flows, which is known as TAWASSUT. And sound which does not flow, which is known as a shidda. For the shidda, there are 8 letters, and there are 2 ways of remembering this. Ajid qitta bakat, or kutubu jaddin tikka. And for tawassut, there are 5 letters, and we remember it with the term lin umar, and the rest of the letters fall in the category of ar-RIKHAWAH. So what have we learnt in this lesson? We are able to define ar-RIKHAWAH, at-tawassut and shidda. We know the letters of ar-RIKHAWAH and we can pronounce them correctly. We know the letters of a tawassut and we can pronounce them correctly. And we know the letters of a shidda and we can pronounce them correctly. Hope you benefited from this lesson. Keep seeking knowledge. Ma'as salama.